Dog or cat? Which should you keep? After another long day at work, someone comes home to a small apartment, imagining a loyal dog that drags them out for walks versus a calm cat that quietly curls up on the sofa. Many people hesitate at this crossroads, wondering which pet would really fit their lifestyle, budget, and personality. Is a dog, who makes you more active and gives you an intense bond, the better choice? Or is a low-maintenance cat, who shares your space at a comfortable distance, more suitable? In this video, we run a 10-round, 20-turn debate where both sides argue on completely equal footing. Which side are you on? Tell us in the comments. Now, let's get started.
I recommend a cat. Cats are basically pets that can live entirely indoors without needing walks, and they can be kept even in a studio apartment. Even if you have a busy job and unpredictable return times, if you prepare food, water, and a litter box in advance, they can usually stay home alone without major problems. When they want contact, they come to you, and when they don't, they keep some distance. I think that comfortable distance suits today's stressful society. For people who want to quietly share the same space rather than constantly interact, cats are a better match.
I think you should keep a dog. Dogs are genuinely happy just to be with people. When you call their name, they run over, and they show their emotions clearly with their eyes and tail. Through training, you can build complex communication like stay or come, which gives your daily life rhythm and structure. The daily walks and play naturally become an exercise habit, helping reduce stress and feelings of loneliness. Even if you live alone, if you want a partner to actively do things with, a dog is the better choice.
However, the fact that daily walks are assumed is already a high hurdle for many people. If you regularly work overtime and come home near midnight, or if bad weather continues, you still have to give your dog enough exercise. By contrast, it's said that about 30 minutes of play a day is enough to prevent lack of exercise in cats, and you can cover that indoors with toys that make them run or with vertical movement on a cat tree. For people who dislike going outside in the first place or whose lives are disrupted by irregular shifts, cats are the more realistic option.
It's true that cats have the upper hand when it comes to staying home alone, but walks with a dog are not just a burden. They are forced investment in your own health. General veterinary advice is that many adult dogs should get about 30 minutes to 2 hours of aerobic exercise per day. That applies directly to the owner too. Thanks to walks, some people see lower blood pressure and better weight control. Walks also make it easy for dogs and owners to meet others, becoming a natural trigger for neighborhood relationships. If you want to change both your body and your mind in a more outward-looking direction, dogs are more effective.
Conversely, that training and having to constantly pay attention will feel like a burden for some people. Cats are fundamentally independent and spend most of the day sleeping. There are reports that many indoor cats sleep around 12 to 18 hours a day, and they will quietly nap on the sofa or by the window, even while their owner is working from home. The risk of loud vocalizations causing trouble with neighbors is lower, and their footsteps are quiet, so cats are better suited to apartments and places where noise is a concern. If you want a presence that simply stays by your side without needing constant fussing over, cats are the natural choice.
Dogs are superior in the intensity of communication as well. With proper training, they can understand complex rules like bring it, go to your crate, or wait before you eat. So you have many intelligent back-and-forth interactions. In households with children, this has a strong educational effect. They can learn responsibility, empathy, and the importance of following rules through real experience. Cats are, of course, adorable, but in terms of carrying out tasks together in response to instructions, you can't expect the same level of interaction as with dogs. If you want a pet that actively joins family events, a dog is the better candidate.
From a cost perspective, cats still have the edge. Estimates from the US suggest that total costs in the first year are slightly higher for dogs than for cats, and that in subsequent years, including food and medical expenses, dogs tend to be more expensive. Because dogs are often larger, they eat more food, and boarding or pet sitting is frequently charged per animal, which adds up. Cats also have medical expenses, of course, but assuming an average build and lifestyle, cats put less pressure on the household budget for people with the same income. For those who want to keep long-term expenses down, cats are the more realistic option.
For people who want to change their lifestyle, that you don't have to fuss over them point actually becomes a disadvantage. Dogs demand walks and play, so they forcibly create a reason to break out of a life where you never leave bed on your days off. If you like the outdoors, it's realistic to go hiking or camping together, and large dogs can also serve as a deterrent as guard dogs. Also, the range of breeds and sizes is huge. If you choose a small breed with lower exercise requirements, dogs can still be kept in an apartment. If you want to proactively change your lifestyle, a dog becomes the engine that helps you do it.
Dogs also present a real risk of damaging furniture and floors. Especially with medium and large breeds, just running around can leave the flooring covered in scratches, and the sofa may sag faster because they jump on it. If training fails, they may bark incessantly at guests or delivery people and cause disputes. By contrast, cats are good at using vertical space. If you place cat trees and shelves well, they can get plenty of exercise even in a small floor area. With some ingenuity in room layout, it's easy to envision keeping multiple cats in a compact space, which is one of their strengths.
If we're going to talk costs, cats also have cat-specific expenses. Litter must be purchased continuously, and if you have multiple cats, the monthly cost can be surprisingly heavy. If they scratch and damage furniture or wallpaper, you may have to pay restoration fees in a rental property. Dogs also chew things, but with training and toy choices, that behavior is comparatively easier to control. On the other hand, scratching is deeply instinctive for cats and very hard to eliminate completely. And unlike dogs, who can do most of their business outside on walks, cats always have a litter box inside the home, so you must be prepared for odor control and cleaning work.
In practice, cat toilets can be kept quite odor-free using high-performance litter and self-cleaning litter boxes, and because they eliminate only in a fixed place, they're relatively easy to manage. By contrast, dogs bring mud, pollen, ticks, and other outdoor substances into the home on their coat during walks. For people with allergies, a fully indoor cat may be easier to manage than a dog who regularly goes in and out. If a cat doesn't like visitors, you can simply move them to another room to avoid contact. Hygiene offers pros and cons for both species, and it is not the case that only cats are disadvantaged.
In terms of smells and hygiene, dogs also have advantages. If they relieve themselves during walks, you don't need a permanent toilet inside the house, and most odor sources are outside. Of course, you must pick up after them, but the feeling is different from living with a litter box permanently in your living room. In addition, with regular shampooing and grooming, it's easier to control odors so that visitors don't feel overwhelming animal smell. If you want to keep your home as flat and simple as possible, a dog that mainly uses the outdoors as a bathroom may be a better fit.
Even so, many studies report that indoor cats often live close to 15 to 20 years, so you can argue that the chance of living with the same partner over the long term is higher with cats. Because they don't need frequent outings or strenuous exercise, you don't have to change your lifestyle drastically, even when they or you grow old. From the owner's perspective, thinking ahead to a time when their own daily walks or lifting the pet becomes physically difficult, choosing a cat from the start is a rational decision. If you want a long, quiet cohabitation that extends into old age, cats are the more strategic choice.
When it comes to lifespan, you can't simply say that dogs are worse off. While data vary, large animal hospital statistics report average lifespans for both dogs and cats in roughly the 10 to 13-year range, and it is not rare for small dogs to live more than 15 years. What really matters is how intensively you spend that limited time. Even at an advanced age, dogs can still go for walks and do rehab with you, and the more care they need, the stronger your sense of "I am looking after them" becomes. For people prepared to dedicate several years of their life to caring for an aging dog, that experience can be incredibly rich.
On the other hand, most people do not expect that level of role from a pet. After coming home exhausted from work and human relationships, many people don't want complex training sessions or outings. They want a being that simply curls up quietly at their side. Cats fit that need exactly. Their meows are not as loud, and grooming is often needed less frequently than with many dogs, so the overall amount of care tends to be lower. For people who are introverted or whose hobbies are mostly at home, the cat's quiet, co-living style imposes less psychological burden.
A major strength of dogs is the diversity of roles they can play. Guide dogs, assistance dogs, police dogs. These are animals that, with the right training, can directly contribute to human society. And in practice, that means dogs. Even in ordinary households, their reaction to visitors and their barking at unusual events provide a sense of security in terms of crime prevention. Furthermore, by teaching tricks and routines, you give them daily mental exercise, and you, as the owner, feel a strong sense of accomplishment. If you want your pet to be more than family, less than a coworker, dogs are overwhelmingly better at fulfilling that role.
Conversely, for people who travel a lot or are frequently away from home on business, cats are overwhelmingly easier. For a few days, it is realistic to prepare an automatic feeder, extra water, and multiple litter boxes, and have a pet sitter drop by occasionally to check on them. With a dog, someone must come every day to walk them and manage their elimination needs, which dramatically increases both cost and hassle. Long-distance travel by plane or high-speed train is also very stressful for many dogs, and in some cases, they can't even accompany you. If your lifestyle inherently includes frequent moves and long absences, it is obvious that cats adapt better.
We should also think about emergencies. In a disaster requiring evacuation, it is relatively easy to move with a dog on a leash, and they can be trained to tolerate eliminating outdoors and waiting in a crate. If they are used to the outside environment through daily walks, they will be less likely to panic at an evacuation shelter. There are even cases where dogs notice changes in their owner's physical condition on a walk or bark to alert others when the owner collapses. If you want a companion who can go anywhere with you, even in emergencies and outdoor environments, a dog is more suitable.
I, for my part, recommend a cat to the very end. Given the constraints modern people face, time, physical energy, living space, income, the cat's traits of being quiet, space-saving, no walks needed, and relatively low cost are extremely rational. They do not force clingy affection, yet at unexpected moments they jump onto your lap or sleep in the same bed at night. That relaxed distance slowly heals a heart worn out by human relationships. If you want to welcome a pet without drastically changing your lifestyle and within your current constraints, then I consistently argue that it is more logical to choose a cat rather than a dog.
Looking at everything together, I believe that if you are prepared to rebuild your life around your pet, you should choose a dog. Time, effort, and money, all of them will be required to some extent, but in return, you gain a deep bond, rich interaction, and a more outward-looking lifestyle. The very process of training together and building mutual trust can itself become a hobby or even a purpose in life. If you can see adjusting your actions and schedule to your dog not as a restriction, but as a meaningful responsibility, then I insist you should choose a dog without hesitation.
This concludes our 10-round debate on whether you should keep a dog or a cat. Based on your lifestyle, budget, and personality, which companion do you think would truly suit you better? Share your own experiences and preferences about living with dogs or cats in the comments.